The Alpha and Omega Bible. History of the Bible. The original Old Testament scriptures were written in the Paleo-Hebrew language, which is extremely similar to Greek and is related to Greek. Then, when the Israelites went into captivity in Assyria and Babylon, they learned the Assyrian Aramaic language. Hebrew was outlawed, and all the scriptures had to be translated into the Assyrian language in a translation called Targum. It was a very corrupt translation, which also inserted the name of the pagan Assyrian moon god in place of the true Paleo-Hebrew name. This is the Old Testament translation that the Strong's Concordance points to. Then, in the late 3rd or 2nd century BC, the OT scriptures were restored by translating them into Greek, which is really just a form of true Hebrew. This Greek Septuagint translation removed those horrible pagan god names of Yahweh, YHWH, but they did not put the Creator's true name, Jesus, back into the Old Testament. They just replaced the evil moon god name, Yahweh, with Adoni or Lord, which are not evil words. When Jesus taught the Bible, it was from this Greek Septuagint, which greatly resembled the original Hebrew. Paul and the apostles continued to use the Greek Septuagint, including the Apocrypha. Then they wrote the New Testament books, also in Greek, a form of Hebrew. Eventually, the Roman Empire established the Roman Catholic Church, which eventually translated all the scriptures into Latin. Hundreds of years later, Martin Luther translated them into German. Then different people started translating some of the books of the Bible into English. The first complete English Bible was printed on October 4th, 1535, and is known as the Coverdale Bible. After Coverdale, in 1537, Thomas Matthew, real name John Rogers, published the next complete English Bible called the Matthew Tyndale Bible in 1539. Thomas Cranmer, the Archbishop of Canterbury, hired Miles Coverdale at the request of King Henry VIII to publish the Great Bible. It became the first English Bible authorized for public use, as it was distributed to every church chained to the pulpit, and a reader was even provided so that the illiterate could hear the Word of God in plain English. The KJV was not the first authorized Bible. Then later, in 1560, the Geneva Bible was published. It was the first Bible to have verse numbers, margin references, and extensive notes to help the average reader understand. The note spoke out against the Roman Catholic Church. It was not authorized by any of the popes. It became the most popular Bible translation among anyone except the Catholic Church. The Pilgrims and Puritans and others who fled to North American continent. What is USA Today used in the Geneva Bible? In 1568, the Bishop's Bible was produced. In 1609, the Catholic Church released the Douay Rheims Bible to try to complete against the Geneva Bible, but everyone stayed with the Geneva. In 1611, the Anglican Church, which hated and killed Protestant people, released the KJV Bible to compete with the Geneva Bible. The KJV copied much of the Geneva in order to try to win the people, but it also took out the anti-Catholic notes and added things from the Douay Rheims Catholic Bible and inserted many demonic Freemason pictures drawn by William Shakespeare. In fact, the KJV was in the hands of William Shakespeare for an entire year. They claim only to draw the illustrations, but I firmly believe this famous writer and Freemason heavily influenced the text. The people did not embrace this new Freemasonry Bible, which was titled the King James Version, which is named after a man. It was authorized by the King of England, who was a homosexual Freemason. At first, the Catholic Church tried to give a public appearance of hating the KJV, but privately they were in on its invention right from the beginning, which they now admit. Eventually, they did everything in their power to promote the King James Version. Over the years, as the Protestant churches became more and more compromising with their doctrines, and the Catholic Church grew in America, the Pope finally won the hearts of the people with the KJV. Over the years, as the Protestant churches became more and more compromising with their doctrine, the Catholic Church grew in America, and the Pope finally won the hearts of the people with the KJV. Today, most of America is unaware that the KJV was not the first English Bible, was not the first authorized Bible, and was not the first translation from the Hebrew and Greek tongues, and was not accepted by the Protestant settlers of America. Eventually, in 1666, the KJV was altered by removing several books from the Bible. Those books today are called the Apocrypha. The translation continued to be altered several times since then. Today, most Christian bookstores do not carry the original 1611 KJV Bible. Most people who believe in 1611 KJV only do not even own one. I met only 2 to 3 people who actually own a 1611 KJV Bible. What people have is actually an 1887 KJV Bible, which is much different from the 1611 KJV. But both the 1611 and the 1887 are corrupt and extremely different from what the prophets, disciples, and apostles wrote. In 1844, Sir Lancelot Charles Lee Benton published an English translation of the Old Testament Greek Septuagint, which, based on the Codex Vaticanus, which is the oldest complete Bible that we have on the planet. Benton did an excellent job at the English translation, but did make some mistakes and did not restore the Creator's name to the Old Testament. In 1900 and 1901, the American Standard Version, ASV, was published. It included both Old and New Testaments. It was a great improvement over the KJV. In 1963 and 1971, the New American Standard Bible, NASB, was published. It was even a greater improvement, gradually restoring the scriptures, removing the words and sentences that Nestoric Jews and the Catholic Church had inserted over the years. In 1995, the translation was updated and improved, but none of these translations go deep enough or far enough at restoring the Holy Scriptures. In 2015, the Holy Breath of Spirit moved Apostle Tim of I Saw the Light Ministries to start translating and restoring the Holy Scriptures with the publication of the Alpha and Omega Bible. The first edition was published in January and February 2016, but included only 5 books of the Bible. In March 2016, a second edition was released with the addition of 1, 2, and 3 John. The entire Bible with Apocrypha was published in December 2016 and has been updated since then.